I had the impression that we have a lot of female energy in the room. Is that true? Excuse me, is there really female energy in the room? Maybe you can just let me hear again. Excellent. So, I'm very happy to have the first female guest here at CDR Berlin. And I don't even know how to introduce her because she's done so many different things. She's an artist, of course. She does theater. She does all kinds of different performances I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So let's get this show on a roll with Peaches.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Any ladies in the... Oh, you said that already.
Sorry, I stole your intro. You said that you actually want to ask the audience. Will you turn this...
you know, these lecture, workshops, whatever you want to call them, are of no use to anybody if we don't touch on things that you're interested in. Because, well, I obviously love talking. There's no problem. I could talk all night to you, but I would like to know what you want to know. So, how many of you out there, with just a raising of a hand, produce music?
Okay,
all right.
That's pretty good. How many did actually bring some music for us to listen to later on? Or uploaded it? Oh, very nice.
Cool. And why the rest of you here?
They just want to see your fabulous jumper. Isn't that a beautiful tracksuit?
Thank you. I don't want to sound like an ad for Red Bull Academy, but I was there giving a lecture, and it's quite an incredible program. If you are interested, it is worth applying. Nobody asked me to say that. I just was quite impressed with the opportunities there. That's all.
Thank you for that. Why Peaches? How did you come up with that name?
Oh, it was from a Nina Simone song called For Women. Anybody, any Nina Simone fans in the house? The song For Women is one of Nina Simone's greatest songs, where she talks about the struggle of four women. I fortunately didn't relate to any of their struggles, but at the end of the song she mentions the last name of the last woman, and she says, "What do they call me? My name is Peaches." But she sang it much better and much more passionately, and I wanted her to be singing it to me, and I never, I thought she was going to change it to, "My name is Meryl." So I changed my name to Peaches, so she'd be singing it to me.
Okay, that's quite nice. So you always knew that even when you were going to kindergarten that you want to be on stage, rocking crowds, intimidating men?
I didn't know what. I was quite a spaced out kid, to be honest. And in kindergarten, I remember shoving a very large lima bean up my nose to steal the attention from the teacher, but then I couldn't get it out, so she had to pull it out. Maybe too much information, but that's just a story that came to my head when you said kindergarten. And since then, I've been not the greatest concentrated person in a situation like school. I found it very restrictive. Any sort of creative outlet at school was very restrictive. You know, music teachers would say, "You, sing this note." And I'd sing it, and it'd be wrong. They go, "Okay, forget it. No solo for you. You sing that note." "Ah, you got it. Okay." You know, it wasn't about creative process or anything like that. So I actually had to teach myself a lot of things. I also don't have any history of musical talent in my family. I heard there's a great aunt who played ukulele once, but I never saw her. I thought you needed to have a musical background to understand music. And, you know, when I, later on in life, around 18, 19, I picked up an acoustic guitar and then started to play around and figure out music at a later age.
So you have any siblings, brothers, sisters?
I do. Brother, sister.
Are they doing anything with music, or?
No.
But your parents were supportive of your musical
They were. They were.
ideals?
The music part, yes. The ideas, maybe not so much.
Do they listen to your records nowadays?
They know them. They secretly listen to them. Yes.
And how do you explain to your grandmother what you do?
Oh, I don't have to. She's passed on.
So you never had the
I'm
chance to tell her?
No.
How would you?
No. I think, you know, it's always that generation one skips, so it's always like the grandmother's cooler than the mother is with what's going on, and it's things that change, so I'm sure she'd be proud.
But did you ever have the chance to tell your music teacher back then that actually you were right with singing that note and you got a lot of solos?
No,
meantime?
no, I never saw him again, no.
But you decided to teach as well.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of theater work in high school because that was an outlet where they actually let you do what you want. And I had a lot of fights with my theater teacher about what actually theater should be and blah, blah, blah. And in the end, I received an award for theater, you know, begrudgingly because I fought with him a lot, I guess. So he realized that I was interested. And when I was finished school, I needed a job. And I got a very horrible, boring job at a daycare, looking after kids with teachers who were very tired and sad. And it reflected on how the kids behaved. So I used to sneak kids away. And I was learning, like I said, acoustic guitar, and I would tell stories, and the kids would move around and kind of listen to me, and we'd do some role playing, which is what kids at that age really want to do anyway. And the teachers kind of found out, and it became a program, and then the director of the whole daycare saw what I was doing, and I developed a program, and then I started to actually teach teachers how to teach kids to be creative with no teacher experience or...
But what was your secret with that when you said like the regular curriculum wasn't really doing it for you and as for you as a teacher, but also for you as a student?
Yeah.
What did you do different then? Did you give them more freedom?
I let the kids have freedom instead of telling them, okay, we're going to do the story of Peter Pan today, and you are Wendy, and you are Captain Hook. I want to be Peter Pan. No, you're Captain Hook. Get your hook on. You know, things like that. I would say to them, and it wasn't Peter Pan that we were doing, but I'm using it as an example. We're doing Peter Pan. I'm going to tell you parts of Peter Pan, and I want you to act them out. So I would play it, and they can act it out any way they want. Then I would say to them, now you act out which part you like the best, and then we could find out who they wanted to be. And if there was a whole cast of Captain Hooks and one Wendy and no Peter Pan, that was fine with me, because the point was, as a process, to let kids have their own energy and express themselves. It wasn't about dressing them up on stage for their parents to see, look how cute Wendy looks, you know, she's going to be a great mother one day, you know. So, or, oh my God, my son's Peter Pan, what does that mean, you know? So, you know, in a lot of cases, I do give the Peter Pan example because there was one very troubled child who actually broke a whole glass wall one day, and he did want to play Captain Hook, and it was the first time he ever listened to a teacher because he was like getting out all his anger, but in the right ways, you know. And I think everything I've sort of done creatively in life has been about going against what you're supposed to do. So.
But you think that approach of being radical is still key to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, it's not radical for the sake of being radical. It's just that I don't really believe that that's the way you should learn. You can learn creativity, and I think a lot of what you need to teach yourself is unlearning things that have been taught to you in the schools. I mean, if I grew up in the German system, I would have been a Schornstein figure or something. You know, because they would have not let me pass to the next level. It's a horrible system here. I'm really, really proud that I didn't have to go through it, because I think it would have been even harder for me to break against it.
Yeah, so we are very happy that you didn't grow up in Germany and you can actually...
But I'm here anyway.
And you made it here. Yeah, anyway. So after school, I guess you didn't lose your inspiration. You were still playful, playing around.
Yeah.
What's
I mean, I was teaching kids and I was developing programs. I was quite successful in that, even to my own disbelief, you know, making music all night long and going to work looking like a crazy woman, thinking I'd get fired every day, and then the kids just really enjoying it and learning. So.
But it wasn't always about just, oh, let's just try it out. I guess you had a little strategy behind there as well.
Yeah, there was a learning strategy, yes, but it was just the way that to make them believe or help them to come to it on their own instead of forcing them into ways.
Is that also something that you would recommend to young musicians just to try it out and not follow anything?
Yes, really don't. If you want to be a technician, that's fine. But if you want to be a creative music producer, you have to come up with your own ideas. I mean, when I started to produce music, I didn't even know I was really producing music. What I was doing is trying to create a band because all my friends had moved away and I wanted to still play music. But you know, it was 14 years ago and nobody had a laptop or even GarageBand or whatever. So I was using an ADAT machine, you know, it used to put video cassettes in, and Mackie 16-channel mixer, and a machine called the MC505, which I picked from the music store because it had drum sounds and keyboard sounds and a mixer right in there, so that I figured if I was making the drum sounds and the keyboard sounds and all the other sample sounds that were in there and mixed them all in there, then they would be in the same world. So at least I wouldn't have this new problem of how to record everything externally.
But that was also when you decided to start your own career, right? I mean, you were part in rock bands before.
I didn't mean to have a career.
No, but I mean, you were part in Mermaid Cafe.
Yeah. Mermaid Cafe was also a mistake, a weird.
Why
little,
also?
Well, I never planned on. Actually, I never planned on being a teacher. I never planned on being a professional musician. The only thing I ever planned on being was a theater director. And I finally got to university and got into a theater program. They actually magically had started a director's program the year that I wanted to be in that program. 5 people got in, I got in. I did the program and quickly realized I didn't want to work with actors and thought I would have a heart attack by the time I was 30 if I would have to go through all those things. And then found music and thought, wow, you can build your own show, you can write your own music, you can produce your own you can do everything, and no one's going to tell you you can't do this or that because you can create your own world. So with Mermaid Cafe, just because if you wonder what that is, I had a girlfriend and she played acoustic guitar and I also played acoustic guitar, and we fancied the Indigo Girls at the time.
What were the
Anybody
Indigo
know
Girls?
who the Indigo Girls are? Not one person. Anyways, they were like a lesbian folk band. So we used to play songs and write songs, and we got a small gig in a club on a Wednesday night, and we brought out so many people that they asked us to come back next Wednesday, and we ended up playing there for a year and a half. Every Wednesday night, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm a musician. I guess I'm singing songs, writing songs, and now I'm a folk musician. I don't want to be that.
Do you have any pictures from that time?
Yeah. They're really funny, yeah. I don't have any for you right now, but I had long curly hair and I had an acoustic guitar. Do I need to say more? Yeah.
I would really love to see that, so hopefully next time.
Yeah, horrible.
But that was all in Toronto, right?
Yeah, but that was in Toronto. All of it took place in Toronto. And then I decided, oh, well, you know, I'm a musician. I want to start. I want to use my voice more. I want to play electric guitar. And I knew, like, I knew a bongo player in a dance troupe, and I knew a very amazing experimental guitarist who used like EBow and like used a lot of active mics on his guitar, and I was just trying out a bunch of stuff, you know, see where it would go.
And then you met up with a lot of fellow Torontians, or however you call them, Gonzalez and Mocky. I guess those
that's
are
also
some
a funny,
names that some people know.
like a weird story, because So I developed a new band. It was called Fancy Pants Hoodlum. I wore funny pants, and I thought it was fun and everything. And I actually got my picture in the local, city or paper. And another band called me. They wanted to play with me, and there were 2 girls in the band. I was like, oh, wow, girls in the band. And we became friends. And then there was one girl, and I said, I want to start a girl band. Let's start a girl band, And she's like, well, I have 2 friends that are musicians. One's my next door neighbor and this other guy that I have a crush on. And my next door neighbor has a basement with lots of instruments. We should just jam there. And I'm like, I want a girl band. And she's like, just come over one day. So I went over to her next door neighbor's house, and that was Maki, her next door neighbor. And the guy she had a crush on was Gonzalez. And then I didn't say a word to them. I'd never spoken to them. We just smoked a huge fat joint and started jamming. And
then you all of a sudden forgot that they were not female.
I forgot that their hair started to grow. Yeah. No, and it was just really fun. And also, they were quite accomplished already. Maki was quite, accomplished in jazz, drumming and double bass and everything. And then they were quite encouraging, to be honest. They were like, okay, now you get on the keyboards. Okay, now you get on the drums. Okay, let's just switch it around. And then I started playing everything that day. And then Gonzalez gave me the best compliment I could ever. He told me that I played guitar like Joey Santiago from the Pixies. And I was like, yes. It was the first guitar compliment I had ever gotten.
Is that because he had a crush on you as well?
Maybe. No, I don't know. I hope it was on artistic merit. But anyway, then we started a band called The Shit, because we decided, yeah, we're the shit. Because we all did have, there was like a sexual energy between the 4 of us. And so we decided to write songs just about whatever was in the room. And that really freed us up a lot in terms of where we were at in our music. Maki had more of like a hip-hop jazz band, and Gonzalez had like a funky band, and I was coming from this weird Fancy Pants Hoodlum experimental band, and Sticky, the other girl, was working more in the Beyond the Valley of the Dolls type band. It really freed us up, and I think me more than any of them, I carried on with that style or that headspace and that energy.
Are you still in touch? I mean, I saw Gonzalez. He was playing here 3 shows this week.
Yeah, I
he's
saw
a
the
piano
show.
teacher now, it seems like. And Moki's doing his thing as well. Are you still doing
Yes,
some
we're
stuff?
all very close, yes.
And you all moved together to Berlin, or what's,
No.
How did
Well,
that
me
happen?
and Gonzalez came to visit together. I had my 505. I hadn't started writing songs, and he had this weird instrument that you don't even have anymore. It's like a double CD player mixer, and we were just jamming. And it was before, it was funny. We would go into a bar and go like, hey, if you use your RCA cables, you can plug them into your mixer, and we could be your music for the night. It was new. It was a new kind of thing. It seems like now, of course you would do that. But,
So it was really learning by doing. You
yeah,
just
we
got
did
some
it. We did it
parts
in
and then you just-
Amsterdam. We did it in Paris, and we came to Berlin, and we played at a place called Gallery Berlin Tokyo. We was lucky we found this place, and we were like, "Wow, Berlin! That's so cool here! Wow, what's this place? This is great!" And Gonzalez was like, "I'm staying," and I was like, "I gotta go home, teach kids for another year." So I went home, and a lot in my life changed that year. Maybe because of my visit, maybe because I was thinking I want to go to Berlin, and. I started to write the album Teachers of Peaches, and I started to perform it in Canada on like singer-songwriter nights, solo nights, because I had this machine and I didn't fit in anywhere, and people didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to them at all. They didn't understand what that machine is. It doing something? Are you doing something with it?
So did that take a lot of endurance to just sticking to what you wanted to do?
Do you know what? If you know that you've got something going on, you know it. And because I was like, I don't care what they think. I love this. I know it's cool. I enjoy doing this. I feel good. I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm hitting on something. And so that's what inspired me. The funniest part is that when I went to go produce the album, I thought about producing the album. I should have a producer or something, because I'm just doing this mixing in my own little box and stuff like that. So I made a demo of a couple songs, and the first song on the demo was Fuck the Pain Away, which was
I think you need to. I heard this story once before.
Yeah.
And it's really incredible.
Yeah.
With
So-
I mean, that's been one of your biggest songs.
Yeah,
right?
okay, so the first time I ever actually played the song as a whole, which I wasn't really sure how it would go, was with my machine on stage and a microphone, and there was a sound woman, and she had a cassette player, and she recorded my set. And after the show, she's like, if you give me $5, I'll give you this cassette, because I recorded your thing. You can see what you need to work on, you know? And I'm like, yeah, cool. So I put that demo, which is the first time I played it, from the board mix,
So it's actually from that cassette tape.
from that cassette
live
tape, from the
recording.
first time I ever played it, in board mix, which is like always the worst quality, on a demo, hoping that people would give me advice like, you should do this. And everybody just said, sounds good. I like that. And I never changed it.
So it's still
And
that live version
that
that
is
was
the
recorded.
version that made it into, you know, Lost in Translation, Jackass 2 or 3, whatever movie it was in, South Park, 30 Rock, you know, on and on and on.
Do you have more of those live demos that made it into
Yeah,
one?
I guess I've got the whole cassette, but I don't know. I just recorded the other songs. Yeah.
You brought us some music as well. Maybe we should listen to some in between.
All right. Well, then I'm just gonna play this because I recently got approached by an aerialist, a gymnast aerialist, who is also a burlesque dancer. Her name is Empress Star. She has this project to do aerial activity in ground zero space. I mean. Yeah, not ground zero, in zero gravity. That's it. So, yeah, not in ground zero, sorry. Much different. So,
Just a little.
yeah, just a little. So she wants to go on those, you know how astronauts prepare for their flights. They have to try it. So she wants to do aerial activity. But in this particular case, she did an aerial routine with a butt plug. Everybody know what a butt plug? And in the butt plug's here, and it has a laser beam that will shoot out into the. Okay, there, I'll show you. There's a picture of her with the laser beam. So, and she's also quite political. She asked me to write a song that related to her anal activity. And that was also quite dreamy, which was a challenge for me. So I wrote this song, and it had. She also wanted to be known as an iconoclast, so that's where the part of the rap comes from. Here we go. You can imagine her moving.
I'm an everlasting iconoclast. I came to destroy the past. My stargasm makes the blast. Shake the system, then surpass. Liberate, en masse. Eliminate the class. All humans free at last. So much beauty coming out of my ass. I'm an everlasting iconoclast. I came to destroy the past. My stargasm makes the blast. Shake the system, then surpass. Liberate, en masse. Eliminate the class. All humans free at last. So much beauty coming out of my ass. I'm an everlasting iconoclast. I came to destroy the past. My stargasm makes the blast. Shake the system, then surpass. Liberate, en masse. Eliminate the class. All humans free at last. So much beauty coming out of my ass.
And for me too, it was interesting because I actually used all software for this.
Opposed to
usually I use outboard gear. So, which is funny because I found sounds that usually you would use in outboard gear. So it's good.
So you started off with a 505.
The 505,
and
yes.
What other favorite pieces of equipment do you use?
I love the MS-20. The MS-20 is amazing.
Maybe you can just 2 sentences about what the MS-20 is to the ones who don't know.
It's a outboard Korg machine, and it's a keyboard, and it has really fat sounds. It's amazing.
Okay. So maybe you can quickly talk us through the process how you write music. I guess you don't really read a lot of medieval poetry and then come up with your lyrics.
That's my next project, actually. No, I think a lot of the inspiration or what has been through the years for me is that I basically love hip hop and classic rock. When I was growing up, I loved those two music, but what I was singing along with was appalling, especially coming from a woman's point of view. What you end up singing along with is like, bitch ass, get on the ground and suck my dick. You know, like, why would I be saying that? Or you would get like, you know, hey, little virgin girl, spread your legs, let me come inside, you know?
Who was that?
That was Rod Stewart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Tonight's the night, yeah. But there's a million examples.
I guess they played the censored versions here in Berlin or in
No, they
in
didn't.
Germany.
They're like, spread your wings and let me come inside, 'cause tonight's the night, you know, stuff like that. Which is, you know, it's...
Well, we never understood the lyrics, so maybe
I know, that's why they never censor, but you know, I always thought of like, here I am, like an 8-year-old kid, why can I listen to this? But certain other things are deemed offensive. So basically, I was trying to balance things to make them even with switching lyrics that I'm known for, saying things like shake your dicks, you know, as opposed to people shake your ass, you know, stuff like that. Or as Busta Rhymes had a line where it's like, your ass is so big, we're gonna put the club in your ass, you know? So I wrote a song, the tent's so big in your pants, I'm gonna bring my friends for a dance, you know, things like that. So, and people always find what I do either offensive or completely humorous, but as opposed to the norm. So I guess that was sort of my impetus, and I was hoping to make it danceable so that people are dancing and enjoying, and then they're like, shake your dick, shake. What am I singing along with? Oh, that's cool, you know. But instead of me singing along with squeeze the juice till the lemon, squeeze the lemon till the juice runs down my leg, you know. So, which is Led Zeppelin.
But is that also becoming then sort of a stigma that you always feel like you have to do this kind of?
No, I don't feel like I have to. I feel like it's progressed, and I mean now it's you know, you have Nicki Minaj, you know, with a song like "Did It on 'Em." I just shitted on them. Put your number 2s in the air if you did it on them. Like she's done it. It's there. It's cool. Mm-hmm. So it gets carried on.
So that was the lyrical part. The musical
yes.
part.
The musical part. I just love minimal to make the maximal impact with the most minimal music, as opposed to minimal music, which is the most minimal impact, in my opinion, but the most maximal amount of music.
Yeah, let's
and a hush comes over the room. Ooh.
You start with the lyrics. You start with the production. You play around with equipment, or
yeah, a bass line is very important, and of course a beat and a melody. But it's always a matter of what is going to fit together, you know. And you always put in too much, and then you have to strip away. The most important thing is to strip away things. You're not adding things. Usually, it's the stuff you take away that makes the most impact.
And when do you know when that's it?
You just know.
Okay.
And you have to trust yourself. And you don't have to ask a million people because everybody has their own opinion. And you're the one who made the music, so you know.
And we'll hear a lot of your music later on, and then maybe you know if the tune is finished or not. There's this. You're connected to this Pigeonhole electro clash.
Yeah,
has that
it's
been
kind
a
of
good or
annoying.
bad thing?
Well, I mean, it's whatever it is. I mean, it's unfortunately a genre that lived for like 8 months, so it's not really a fun genre to be associated with. But you know, that's fine. People in punk music didn't want to be called punk either, so.
True. So shall we listen to more music from her?
Yeah. No, what I would like to show you is I made a movie, and I was thinking about jukebox musicals. Anybody seen a jukebox musical? I know you have. You're just too embarrassed to say it. So, in a jukebox musical, you take a band like Queen and you feature their music. You take, you know, We Will Rock You. You have this incredible person, Freddie Mercury, you know, who you could write an incredible story about, but you push that all away, and then you write this inane, totally ridiculous story about the future of music and how we have to find the guitar hidden behind some weird wall and blah, blah, blah. So usually my point is that jukebox musicals have nothing to do with the actual songs written. So I decided to write my own anti-jukebox musical that is a fantastical biography of myself. Yeah. It's a good shot. What was interesting about making this for me is hearing my own music in a different way too. You know, like adding violins to songs and you know, connecting songs with new narratives, and that was really interesting and actually helped me hear music in a different way too.
So you wrote the whole piece. You
Yes.
wrote the music. You
Yes.
wrote the whole story.
The music is all only from 4 albums already made, but they had to be reconstructed. Yeah.
So you came close to being a theater director after all.
Look at that. There, in the end, I became a theater director after all.
And that was performed at the Hebel am Ufer here in
Yeah,
Berlin?
twice. Yeah.
And so if people want to see the whole movie, when will they be able to?
It will be shown during the Berlinale, probably at the How. Yeah.
Okay, that's very nice. So we were able to see part of your band in there as well, the Sweet Machine.
Yes. Sweet Machine, my band.
Maybe do you work with them when you produce music as well, or is that mostly
I haven't.
your live band?
Actually, Connor, the keyboard player, he taught me how to use Pro Tools and everything, and he, I work a lot with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are they
more on
part
a
of your
technical-
production process as
No,
well?
they haven't been yet. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice. So maybe we should open up for questions again.
Yeah.
Because I think,
I have a gig at Festsaal Kreuzberg at around 11.
Do you have any particular way that you start to write the songs? I mean, you hit the keyboard or you hit the drums?
Yeah,
and this is the
I
idea
usually
come
put
from?
on some kind of beat and try and not think about that beat being the be all and end all of the beat. And in my studio, I like to have everything hooked up at one time so that I can play things all the time and then later pick parts of them that I like and not have to worry that, oh, this part didn't go here or that. I just play way more than...
Yeah, I get it. But do you have your preferable instrument you start with, like drums, bass? How do you
yeah, I
actually
usually,
start to write the
you know,
songs?
well,
From which part?
put in I like to use guitar a lot. I don't end up using guitar in the end. I usually change it into something else. But I feel pretty cool when I'm holding a guitar and playing it. So
You're looking
usually,
cool when you're holding it.
I usually some good stuff comes out of that. Yeah. But I also like using the keyboards or even just setting out one sound, you know, and taping it down so that it has some kind of atmosphere that you can play stuff over it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
So you spoke before about how you were doing your one-person show at these singer-songwriter things and no one was really getting it. But what happened after that? You went to Berlin, or how did you go to the next level where you found people that were into what you were doing?
I just kept doing it, and I liked what I was doing, so I did get some attention in Canada, and it started to happen, but then I started, because I had visited Berlin, I wanted to check out that, and once I moved to Berlin, then I started to get attention from New York and London, which was funny, because if I would have gone to New York, then it wouldn't have been like that, so...
In the history of music, music always have been not as political or as much as political. What is your main political message? I see that's a bit much of sexuality and equalness for women.
Not just for women, for everybody.
For everybody, yeah. But in your examples, you said so many men sung about virgins and something like this,
Right.
and you are turning it
And
around.
I'm a virgin.
And yeah, but this is your political message. Is it only based on sexuality, or even in actual conflicts you are handling with, or?
Is sexuality isn't a context?
It is, but it's a personal context. Even
So that's not political?
It is. It is. But how about other situations in your life?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What I'm interested in is everybody should be able to be creative. Everybody should be able to say what they want to say, whether it's telling your government to fuck off, or telling your boyfriend that he needs to learn how to please you, or your girlfriend needs to learn how to please you. And that's why I also did the song for Pussy Riot. It's I made a song and a video and started the campaign towards it, because I felt like if I lived in Russia, that would be me, and that's why I made an action towards that. So, I mean, I never ever want to be in politics. I would not want to be a vice president, a secretary of state, or anything like that. But I do believe that if people gave their creativity a life, then this is the big hippie part of me that didn't leave Mermaid Cafe. I feel like if people really listen to their own creativity and their own, what they really, not should, but what really makes them tick, whether they're an accountant, you can find creativity, whatever it is, you just really need to find that in yourself, and probably there'd be less bitterness between people, or less problems. And it starts with you, it starts with your relationships with people, and your sexual relationships, and relationships with your community.
I think from a lot of, some artists like working nowadays, I can see like some influence from your music, for instance, like D'Antwoord and their aesthetic, and even some UK-based music like Ramadan Man, like what you were saying about minimal instrumentation for maximum effect, things like Hessel Audio record label and stuff like that. I mean, how much do you factor in kind of the way that certain things in modern music work, and for instance now, like how there's this sudden shift away from, you don't have to be with a major record company, you can be doing it of your own aesthetic and doing things much more on your terms, I think, to get a level of success.
I think that's incredible, and I never trusted major labels, and I've never been on a major label. Although I was on XL Records, which ended up being like a major label, because all they really cared about was the major artists, like signing Adele. And they were supposed to be this indie artist label, but in the end, it's great for them, but it didn't turn out to be that way, you know what I mean? But I think major labels and the whole middleman is a crock of shit, and I'm glad that it's dying.
Yeah, a gear-related question. I just brought my own MC 505 back from home here, and yeah, just wondering if you have any tips, or I'm just getting started and playing around with it. I just love Roland.
Roland is great. They don't give any endorsements, but they're great. If you find something you like, it's great. Use it. I think people who spend so much time tweaking lose the vibe of their songs and lose. So if you like it, or you think, yeah, it's good right now, then it's good. And you can tweak all you want later, but just get the vibe of it and keep going on it.
Today on radio, I heard that Carla Bruni, the wife of the Prime Minister of the former Prime Minister of France said to...
Is it the former wife, too?
Not yet, I don't think. She said that today we don't need feminism anymore. What would you tell her?
What is that all she said? We don't need feminism?
I guess there was more to it, but
Yeah.
that was just one of the phrases.
Well, I mean, I think we need humanism. I mean, my point of feminism is to make things equal.
What makes a great performance for you?
You mean personally when I'm or when I see someone?
Both.
Something that really connects you to the audience. If you connect to the audience, then there's no denying it. You can sit there like, but if you end up going like, oh, then you've connected.
Which are some of the great performances that you have seen recently?
I did see Jay-Z. He was great. You know what? Why, were you there? At the Barclay Center? I saw Jay-Z at Barclay Center. And you know what? He wasn't so flashy. He was just wearing, you know, it was like the Barclay Center, which he started, and it was...
We're talking about Gonzalez, right?
What?
Who are we talking
I
about?
thought you said Jay-Z. Oh, but it was
Jason
great. Oh, I'm
Gonzalez.
saying Jay-Z. But it was great
Well, let's talk about Jay-Z.
because he was just so chill, and he was just so heartwarming and giving back to Brooklyn, even though he wasn't. He was just walking around and, you know, doing his thing. But he was heartwarming because he was really connecting with people. And Gonzalez, of course, I just saw that show on Monday, and it's incredible. I mean, the skill and the talent, but also the talent of connecting with the audience. And well, one part that was really funny is because people are used to seeing him be funny, and he was just trying to be straight up, and people kept laughing. That was strange, but
Actually, I was as well, because it was quite humorous as well.
yeah, there was some humorous things. But were you there on Monday?
I was there on Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday was funny. He even said, "Why are you laughing at this part? I don't understand." But yeah.
Okay. You've been in the program, or you've been on tour with Marilyn Manson. You've been performing with Iggy Pop or other big names. You've been playing festivals. You have a huge stage presence when you get on stage. Are there ever moments when you're scared to get on stage as well?
I don't like public speaking. I don't mind this situation, but I think I'm more scared to have to read a speech or something like that than I am if I'm allowed to just be myself or sing a song.
I have to say, the first time I saw you on stage, I felt a bit intimidated as well.
Yeah.
Is that part of the show?
Is that why you're going like that?
Right now I am,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no, it's just I have an entertainment disease, so I always feel like I have to give and give.
You were actually giving quite a lot tonight, so
Okay.
thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So.